welcome to Hyperfocal, where we take a moment in time and we zoom in and let you know the deeper story behind it. I am your host, Meg.
And I'm Kevin.
So the topic for today was how we designed our life. How did we design our life? Well, why did you think of that first and foremost?
Yeah, I felt like it's always a topic that someone asks, what's your... Yeah, we have couples that have asked us, like, do you do this full time? And some other couples will ask us, oh, so you've been doing this full time. How did you first start getting into it? Yeah. And how is it like your lifestyle now? You know, yeah. Because we started very young. And
how did we start?
Do you want to tell that story?
Oh man, you know, it's hard to tell this story without like either going too broad or too deep.
Yeah.
So I guess if I were to like meet a couple like on the street and they said, how did you start? I'd be like, well, we met in college. And then the story I always give is like, and Kevin gave me a camera. He taught me ISO, aperture, shutter speed. And I would just stand in the corner and take a picture. And then so slowly there we started to work together. And then you were always wanted to know what you wanted from photography. Was specifically doing weddings because you had a good feeling about it. And then we just went from there. Like, we had no question about it. They're like, do you want to do this or anything like that? Is this something you want to do? It's just like, let's go, let's do it. And that's how we came here.
That's pretty much it, yeah. When you're that young, you really don't have a plan.
Yeah.
I didn't have a plan.
Yeah. And
you were just wanting to learn the art of photography. Well, during that time, right?
Well, let's take a hyper-focused look at it, because now it's cool to, like, now that it's been 14 years, right, since we started, basically. It's like I'll always think back on it, and every year I feel maybe a little different about it. So now, I don't know. I think, yeah, I did want to learn, because the act of holding that piece of equipment, which was so... I thought it was so cool because it was like heavy, it was high tech.
During that time as well, like...
It made you feel powerful?
Yeah, during that time, holding something, like holding a DSLR, you immediately knew that it was an equipment that professionals used.
Professionals use this, yeah.
Like, it's out of touch for most people our age because it was...
expensive?
Yeah, it's too expensive.
Yeah.
And were you intrigued? Like, would you say you were intrigued about the wedding side or just how the camera...
the camera and that you were so hyped on it. Because Papa is a salesman, right? You're a salesman.
Yeah.
Like, even though you don't even believe it yet, you'll, like, sell somebody else on it to help you believe it more. Which is so crazy. Like, I just see all this.
It's so funny that you said that because... I believe I still do that.
You still do that.
Till this day.
Yeah, for sure you do.
And there was validation to that story is because we were out on the trails with my friends.
Yeah.
And my friend Ricky was like, this dude, he's like selling this trail to us. The first day I met him, he was high or something. He was talking about, oh, you gotta go Soaks. You gotta go Soaks.
Yeah.
This is an amazing trail.
Oh, yeah. That sounds like you.
I was like, dude, did I really say that?
I think you sold me on it. Your excitement for it, your enthusiasm, how inspired you were. Like, we were friends first for a couple months, and then we started dating pretty quickly after that. And you got to know my family. It was so fast and everything, right? And then because you were like, oh, look at my photo. I remember that. It was like your iMac was sitting on a nightstand. And you're like, look, this is a photo I took. It was like, holy crap. Like, it looks like in a magazine.
Yeah.
I remember saying that. It looks like this is
and now every photo looks like it's in a magazine.
And then you get hyped because you got validation, right? You're like, oh, yeah, so I want to plan to do this. You're showing me all your, like, quinceañera photos. And, like, this Mexican band that you took a picture of.
Oh, that was Eli. That was our friend.
Oh, wow. Wow, small world. Yeah, but he was all decked out like a Mexican group band or whatever. And I was like, dang, because they had the cowboy boots and everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then I was just like, wow, this looks like a magazine. I pull out this old a 35 millimeter film camera. And I was like, my dad gave me this. And you're like, nah, like, check this out. But it was Canon, right? Remember? And I remember that I was into Nikon before I met you, just as a look. And then you're like, no, Canon is where it's at. Like, you were so Canon salesman.
Because I started with Nikon as well, and I had to agree that Nikon was not the brand I wanted to represent. Sorry, Nikon, but...
And then, yeah, you showed me the workhorse that is Canon, and that Canon was basically going to rule our life for the next, 10 years or whatever.
And it's still running today.
It still does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We still have...
I wasn't intrigued. I think what's really important, as I reflect back on our relationship, is, I had no individual passions. I had interests, and I never followed them because I got always, pushed down or discouraged. So I learned to be not follow my passion kind of person, right? So, but then when I met you at that time and I was starting this whole new life and shit, you're like, oh, this is it. This is where it's at. You were selling me so hard, and I was like, oh shit, okay, take me. You led me into that, So I was super intrigued.
At the time we were both students actually, and I was in that crunch deciding what is my lifestyle, what is my career.
Yeah.
And I felt lost. I remember sharing that with you. I was sitting on the steps in our old home.
In bed.
Or in bed, just lying there.
In bed, many, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like any other kid during that age, around 19 to 20. You just got out of high school and you're thrown into college, right? And now it's up to you to find your passion or find your destiny and what you're good at. And I would always, throughout high school as well, I'm trying to think, what am I really good at? Because I'll see other students in my high school. I kind of knew exactly what they're good at and why they got accepted to UCLA and why I got accepted to Cal State Long Beach, right?
Same mentality, yeah.
Right?
I got accepted to Cal State and my friend went to UCLA.
Yeah. I was like, man, damn, I'm not good at SATs. I'm not good at test taking. And if you ask Megan, I take forever.
Double think, triple think.
I triple think. Mm-hmm. And cross elimination is not even there. It disappeared. I triple think to the point.
You eliminated everything?
Yeah, I eliminated everything. But in school, I can be good at school. I'm good at the books and everything. But when it comes to decision making, I get decision fatigue like crazy.
Yeah, we're gonna explore that on the show. It's interesting. Why that is.
But just to go back to our original topic, how did we land on this lifestyle? Yeah. It was something that I was familiar with growing up with my parents who are business owners. And I always see the flexibility that they had. And it was just embedded in my lifestyle already. And I wanted to continue that. And I worked at a computer store on campus at Cal State Long Beach, and
for the last time.
For the very last time. And I didn't work there that long. It's like a year or a year and a half, but it gave me a taste of just that one bad experience, right? Well, no, it wasn't a bad experience.
You didn't want to work for somebody.
Yeah, I didn't want to work for anybody because I just remember my boss at the time. He was an awesome boss, but I know when he was disappointed when I said, oh, I can't come to work today. I need a study or something for an exam, right? Which was true.
Pretty legit.
Because I needed to get into a nursing program at the time. And nursing was very competitive. Yeah. So from there, I knew that I didn't want to work under someone because I didn't have the flexibility and the person that I am, I love to be free. I'm a free spirit in a way.
America.
Where I like to travel, I like to make my own schedule. Yeah. And what type of lifestyle is that? like, how can I get that lifestyle? So I did pursue and go into nursing. I graduated in nursing. Nursing did give me that flexibility.
You like the 310 or the 312?
Yeah, you can make your own schedule.
Yeah.
I like that flexibility in a sense that you don't need to just do patient care. You can also be in the tech side or the business side. It was versatile, but it didn't fulfill my passion. Like, it didn't check all the boxes for me in terms of once I met you, you know, everything changed.
Why?
It's like I just want to hang out more with you. Like, I want to spend more time. And I saw how...
How cute.
No, I saw how other people, right,
Yeah.
would... Well, like the average person works a 9 to 5 and they don't see their significant other until after work. Or the only time they have with themselves or with their family is on the weekends.
Yeah.
And I felt that's just too much time away from each other. It's like, why live life? You know, like, life is about experiences, right? And photography was...
But many people do that, Papa.
I know, but not pushing anyone down.
Not for you.
Yeah, but for me, this was for me. This is what went through my mind at the time. I was like, how do I maximize life experiences? Because after high school, I went backpacking in Europe with my cousin. That was an awesome experience, also an eye-opener, right, of what taking advantage of this time that you have to experience different culture or just have experiences in your life.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, who's this?
So,
Can you check?
quick pause.
Quick pause.
Oh, no, it was just an Amazon package.
Okay, cool. We have 8 more minutes, so.
Yeah, so nailing it down, I already got accepted into nursing, went with the program, and during the program, I picked up wedding photography. And this was a little bit after I dabbled into just regular landscape photography, architectural photography. Off the bat, why I chose architectural photography, because I was an architect major coming into college. Originally, I always was fascinated about buildings and art and structure and symmetry. So that's what led me to photography originally, because I like street photography, right? And it still shows within my work today.
Yeah.
There's symmetry, there's buildings, there's everything needs to balance within a photo.
Right.
So as the time went on, like, we met, we dated, and living this life, we're still on the edge because we're still making ends meet, living this lifestyle. And as we
we were very comfortable there,
yeah,
honestly.
as we progressed in this lifestyle that we have no clue, right, what we were building, that's where it clicked that I like to continue this lifestyle.
Yeah.
This lifestyle of being able to work out when you have time to work out, right? So meaning if you want to make that time in the morning, it's your time to take care of yourself. And if you want to designate time to meet with clients, then this is your time to meet with clients.
Okay, wait.
Yeah.
So let's take a pause. All right, we're back from our break. So before you jumped ahead to the whole, this is how we design our life, you're working out already, there's a whole block of stuff in there that we kind of skipped over. So if I can jump back, I remember when you were saying, like, after you met me, then everything changed. Because I do remember you going, I'm so inspired. Like, you were on fire in those first, like, 3 weeks that we, like, started dating. And everything was official and basically got married. Because we're pretty committed people and not, like, trying to date around or whatever. We were just on the same page at that time. And then I remember you being like so inspired, running, zipping, like showing me all the things you want to do. And I was just like, oh, snap. Like, like I guess you had a plan this whole time. But I think it was just like bubbling up like, oh, now this is possible. This is possible. And then you felt, I think, to me, how it felt to me, like on the outside, like you were now validated to go pursue what you really wanted to do. But you were still pursuing nursing because it was like the safe thing to do. And did you feel like guilty or something for maybe not just like skipping out on nursing right then and there?
I did feel some sort of guilt for sure because I worked so hard to get into the program. Like during that time, you have to have straight A's, perfect scores to even get qualified in a four-year college because the other option was a private college and you would have to pay a lot just to get in the program. In my mindset, I'm not paying $20,000 to $30,000 a semester for a nursing degree. It's something that also came to my mind during that time was like, is it really my passion to go pay that much, right?
Yeah. Is the reward, is the ROI, the return on investment worth it, right?
So I tried and I worked really hard to get into Cal State Long Beach or Cal State Fullerton nursing program, and I got accepted to both. Yeah. It took a while. I was in limbo for 1 year, and within that 1 year that I was in limbo, that's when I picked up the photography hobby.
Oh, you mean you weren't going to school for a year?
Yeah, I wasn't going. Well, I was taking like general ed classes, but they were like BS classes that that were just for fun. That's why I took Asian American Studies.
Oh, you didn't even need that?
I didn't even need it.
Wow, and that's where we met.
Yeah.
I needed it.
Because I already fulfilled everything at Cal State Long Beach.
Yeah.
So everything that I just needed to do at Cal State Fullerton was just nursing classes.
And so why did you have to take these classes?
Because they weren't transferable from Long Beach to Fullerton.
Fullerton so you had to take it again.
Yeah, Fullerton had different requirements.
Oh yeah, I hated that shit.
It was like the campus culture, and you have to adapt to the campus culture. And
how weird that we would end up in a class and then like. Oh yeah, so I have to give this story. So we end up in this class, Asian American Women's Studies, right? You're like, what's everybody thinking? Easy A, right?
Yeah. And I also took African American Studies too.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. I took so many studies because because it was like.
And then I was commuting at the time from Palmdale, and I remember always coming to class and just not talking to anybody until finally we had a group project, and then we were in a group together, and then you were telling me that, oh, your eyes were so red because, and that's why I never said hi to you. I was like, oh yeah, that's before my LASIK. Yeah. I had contacts on, always making my eyes all fucked up and everything, and so they always look red from all the commuting and everything. So yeah, I was like not into making any friends because when you're commuting, it's like, why make friends too? It's like, how are you gonna hang out? So
I was a commuter as well.
What, from Yorba Linda?
Yeah, that's commuting.
That ain't commuting, dude.
But I'm saying, like, I'm not living in a dorm on campus having a college life.
Yeah, but that's not a commuter.
But at the same time, you know, I was more of the same mentality of going in and out.
Yeah. I mean, Fullerton was not anything like, oh, can you put the screen on you, the lighting on your face? Yeah, because it's probably dark. Yeah, it wasn't anything to stay for. There was no culture at Fullerton. It's probably different now. But back in the day, it was just like get in, get out, go home, right? So when you started talking to me, I was like, oh, cool, like somebody's talking to me. And it's because I got into an accident on the 5 freeway coming down to school. And it was because, like, after all this time, you're still not used to it. I hated commuting. It was like 2.5 hours to get here from Palmdale or whatever. And you were offering a place to stay because already people were living at at your place. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So this will give me a chance to like set up roots here. I won't have to commute anymore. And finally, maybe I can like start over. I was trying to start over in my old life and like come here into college. And then another thing is like, you were so, again, with the salesman, you're like, here's guppies. And everything's new. So
That's as Asian as it gets in Yorbaland.
But to me, because you come from Palmdale and you have no friends, well, I had friends, but they weren't the right type of friends. So like, I didn't know about guppies. I didn't know about going out. I didn't know about In-N-Out. I didn't know about just looking at Christmas lights for fun and stuff. Just like basic things, I'm sure, for other people. But like the way that you sold everything and like your enthusiasm about it, and then like the way you were so just like, here's everything, like generous with your time, and like just showing me around and being a good friend at first, right? Just being a solid friend. And I was like, wow, cool. Like, and I didn't notice anything. I was just like, wow, this guy's nice. I have a friend already, you know? So I didn't think anything beyond that. But then...
well, it's shocking when you meet someone that, you know, isn't... like, they don't know where... they don't know a lot about this city. So, you would just treat... like anyone as
which
if...
is cool, yeah.
Yeah, they just came from a different country.
I didn't feel like you were trying to get anything from me or anything like that, you know. I didn't sense any ulterior motives or anything like that. But I was just like, wow, he's so nice. Like, oh, cool, like I can have a friend. The dogs are growling. Wonder what he's saying. But yeah, like... I don't know, I just appreciated that at that time. I was going through a really tough time. And so...
also, I don't, you know, growing up, even I grew up locally, I wanted a different group of friends. Not the same ones. No offense to, you know,
I know,
all
when
my
I met
friends.
you, I had so many friends.
Yeah.
And now you're like...
But I wanted to, you know, I wanted a different group of friends.
Why?
It's just like a part of growing up. Like you want... new friends, because I learned in college if you meet different people, you never know one of those people will take you to a different journey in life.
Yeah. I mean, meeting you is like a big fork in the road of like, oh, now you can discover who you are. I didn't know at the time, but then like I think when I met you, especially when you started showing me all the photography stuff and I started to see your passion, like I just never been around somebody who was passionate about something. Because even if I exhibited my own natural passion for something, like I said before, it was like often like kind of pushed down or pushed aside. And so it felt really refreshing and invigorating to be around that. And then now that we were living together as friends at first, we were just like surrounded by that energy all the time, which makes a huge difference, you know, in terms of like, oh, like Papa is living this way and following his dreams. Like it really started to turn the gears in my head to like realize what is possible in terms of like, how do I want my life to be now that I know what is possible?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know like it was even possible until 3 years after running the business.
You were doing it anyway, you know, you were like...
I was in this high, like it was like this...
There was nobody pushing you down, you know?
Yeah, I mean, growing up with a single mom, my mom was never like the person to say, don't do it.
Yeah. That's a big deal.
Yeah, she just was freely allowing me to be who I wanted to be at any given moment. And that was like the same thing growing up with her, was if I wanted to do Aikido, she'll put me in Aikido. If I wanted to wrestle, she'll put me in wrestling. It was like, do it all. Have all the experiences. That's cool. Because you only live at this certain age once. Yeah. So do everything as much as you can. Yeah. You know? Yeah. And that way, growing up, we won't have any regrets. That's dope. Yeah. That, oh, we were in our early 20s and you had this passion project that you wanted to pursue, but you couldn't pursue it because like your parents said, oh, it's bullshit. Like, you know, you shouldn't do it. Money. Yeah, or you're not going to make money. And
I'm like, oh.
The thing about passion is like, it's not about the money. It's about
the passion.
It's about the experience and the journey that you're pursuing something that you really love.
In the beginning, what did you love most in the beginning? Can you remember?
About photography?
Yeah. Like why you kept, I like it.
So it also went back into high school where I was a sneakerhead. And to get exclusive shoes, you waited in line. But when you were waiting in line, it was like a lot of getting pissed at someone that they're like...
Stressful.
Yeah, it was stressful in certain situations because you didn't get there in time and you're not going to know if they have your available size by the time it's your turn. So it's a lot of that. But then at the same time, it was a shoe culture. Yeah, you're a part of a community. I did visit LA a lot. So I was pretty familiar with downtown LA and West Hollywood and everything. And just the people there are different from Orange County people. And I just like the LA vibe more because Orange County, it's too neat, too...
Boring?
Yeah, it's boring for sure.
Yeah.
Too
for
structured.
A young kid.
Yeah, for a young kid, you want...
Art.
Yeah, you want art, right? So...
Culture.
Yeah, and that's how I adapted to that experience and wanting more of structure in LA street photography when I first started. Okay. And that's what I loved about photography was the freedom.
The freedom.
Yeah. And the people that you meet along the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you never know who you're going to meet when you shoot.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Okay, so that kind of brings us up into, you're now shooting weddings and everything. So if we're talking about life design, where'd you go from there?
So from there, I would say I like photography because when I first shot my first wedding, I was presented with a timeline. And still till this day, I prefer everything based on a timeline. It keeps the day more structured. Everything's professional. Everyone's on the same page versus just thinking we're going to do this now and there's no given timeline and it's just chaotic, right?
Yeah.
So I like that aspect of the business and photography, and it suits me because I'm an organized person.
Yeah.
And I like things a certain way.
You like to have a plan.
Yeah, I like to have a plan and control.
I like to have control. That's probably the source of it, because you like to have control.
And I would say photography gives me that control. It gives me full control of the camera, and I like to direct. And it just kind of all meshed together really well.
With your personality.
Yeah, with my personality.
Yeah. And working for yourself, you have complete control there. Yeah.
So that lifestyle kicked in, I would say, after 3 years in the wedding industry.
So what happens when you don't have control? How do you deal with that or get around it?
So in terms of you mean weather getting in the way?
I guess, but maybe in a more of course we do what we can with weather and we call them acts of God, but how about when you just generally don't feel in control, how are you dealing with that?
Well, I'll always make a plan to make sure I'm always in control.
But what if you're not? What if the plan goes awry and then now you're...
what? When is there ever a time? Is there any examples?
Well, okay, let's take the timeline, for example. The timeline doesn't go exactly to plan all the time. So what's going on in your mind to where now you can kind of get back to equilibrium and come back to a better design?
Well, that's why there's a wedding coordinator there.
But if there's not, dude. You're finding little loopholes. What do you do personally? What's the mental state? How do you get around that challenge, you know?
Yeah, usually, for example, I think it's always dealing with weather or if there's a delay in makeup and hair on the day of.
Yeah, what's going through your mind?
I would say,
Like, how do you deal with that?
how much can I squeeze in with the available time I have? That's
are you
usually
freaking out, or like, do you calm yourself down, or?
I don't freak out. Like, yeah, usually I'm able to work through stressful situations. I think I get that practice from nursing because you have to, pass meds in a certain amount of time, or you have to do your calculations when it comes to, giving antibiotics or pain medications and writing notes. So there's a lot of multitasking in that field already that I kind of took over and adapted when we started wedding photography.
Yeah.
So to me, it was like Tetris, just moving. Time is like the video game where you have to just move things around, and you may have to allocate the more important things first. And then if you have time for the rest, great. But if you don't, then that's just what it is.
You prioritize.
Yeah, we have to prioritize.
So kind of like an ER is like, oh, we got to cut your leg, man.
Exactly.
We tried to save your leg, man, but we got to cut it, and we got to just save the rest of your life right now, right?
Yeah, if it's code blue, who are you going to prioritize
Yeah, you got to code
first?
blue this timeline right now because everybody's late up in here. Yeah, I mean, that happens, right?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Is there anything you want to ask me about designing your life?
How did you design your life after...
After meeting you?
Yeah, after the initial phase of starting our first 10 weddings in 2009.
First 10 weddings, I was still working. So there was not a lot of... Oh, okay. So I was still working, and I was still planning on being like a 9-to-5er because I got my degree in health science. And then I was like, well, I got it. And I resented it at that time. Which I don't anymore, obviously, because that's where I met my husband. But it was like... and my parents paid for it. Shout out to my parents, like they just paved the way. They paved the way so I could meet you, I could discover who I am, all that stuff. So in a way, college was still good, but like I was working at a Frisbee shop at the time. They're still around, they're the best. And I saw them as a husband and wife team. They were my first inspiration in terms of an entrepreneur couple. In real life, like you had your parents, like that's so close to be like, oh, I want to be an entrepreneur. But I had no idea about entrepreneuring, even though in high school I took like an entrepreneur class, which was whack. It was like nobody learned how to be an entrepreneur. We just learned how to slack off, honestly. So when I was at that Discovering the World, the Frisbee shop, I was like, oh, they like come into work at 9. They seem to like have a good relationship. They're old and they're having fun. And you could see how Dan is like you. He likes control. He's about like the numbers still, but still having fun, still doing his thing, but definitely about the control. And I saw June, which is his wife, being like really just like there to support. She's a gopher, like how I am now. Whatever needs doing, she'll do. She has her strengths. She does it. She's not loud about it. Just like a strong, silent type, and mothering, which I was like, I didn't really like catch on to all that I said at that time, but looking back for sure, like I was definitely like inspired by it. And
they were great examples for me as well.
He was buying like this $1 million building, remember?
Yeah.
Like, oh shit.
It gave me like some influence that I want to get there one day.
I remember I was working. And you were shooting in Cabo or...
Cancun.
Cancun, yeah. You were shooting in Cancun for like a couple of days. And here I was working. And I was like, comparatively, this sucks. And I was like, oh, man. And I was like, okay. And that didn't really tip it over for me yet. I was just like, oh, it sucks. must be nice for you. Like, 9-to-5ers be really like kind of like jelly about entrepreneur life. You make a trade, but you're kind of jelly about it. And then when I get my degree and I actually get a real job, like with the county and everything, I'm like hella excited. I feel your fear too at that time because like I'm always doing the job thingy. Now I'm commuting all the way to Indio. And it was really taking me away from what we had kind of started. It was like shooting together, you do weddings. Oh, but now I have a real job, so peace out, right?
Yeah, I remember
and
that.
like, I was like, oh, is this the answer? Because I was still unpassionate about anything yet. I was still like, well, I got my degree, I might as well use it. I'm like here for the payout, man. Like I put in the time, I got the grades, I did your thing you want me to do. I wasn't passionate about it. I better get the payout right now. And so I'm like commuting to like India, and it sucks, dude. Like, and then I get into another car accident, and that one really, really took me out because then I was still shooting weddings, and I still had to bring my iMac out to Indio and edit, and my dog. So it was like, it was really tough. And then we shouldn't talk about that part about the whole like working together yet, but like we'll get in that later. But like I was like, it's time to live better. Like I don't know what it is yet. And then I read a book, The 4-Hour Workweek, and that one tipped it over because you were being successful already. I mean, I could see your success. You didn't feel it yet. You weren't decided yet until like, I don't know, 2
Until I got held back in nursing.
There was something where you weren't completely sold, but I was very confident in you already, and that you were going to do better and better. And I was like, damn, like, he's going already. I could stay here in this job, but I'm not happy. And I come back from work very unhappy. And we would only have the weekend together. And that Sunday, every time I have to leave, was so...
It was hard because...
It was so hard.
Yeah, it was like the 9-to-5 lifestyle.
And I didn't just leave to go to work. I left to go live out there at that point,
By
too.
yourself.
Remember? By myself, yeah. And like...
It was backwards.
It was backwards, yeah. And then once I read the 4-Hour Workweek, he's like, you can design your life. You can do this, you can do this, you can do this. You just have to think of the worst possible scenario, because that's why people usually don't want to change their life. They're like, I'm scared of X, right? Fill in the blank.
So when would you say, in what year or at what time you felt you needed to check your current life and started to design it after reading that book?
2010, I was having a lot of trouble. 2011, I got the book. For a whole year, I'm fucking like going to Riverside now. Because I was able to transfer from Indio to Riverside because I was like, boss, the drive is killing me. You got to move me closer. Get me to Corona. They're like, I can't get you to Corona because we were living in Yorba Linda at the time. I can get you to Riverside, which is 45 minutes away instead of 3 hours or whatever the hell. And I was like, I'll take it. and in Riverside was so dope because I got to nurture I became like a designer. I became the photographer over there. I was like nurturing all these little skills that I was already doing for KLV Le Vu Photography at the time. And like I had all these web development skills that I was working on, coding even, stuff like that. And then I read the book and I'm like, dude, I have so much proof that it's possible. So then I was like, put my 2 weeks notice in, fucking happy. And I'm trying to sell everybody on becoming an entrepreneur too, which was not very good. That was a little toxic, honestly. But like, I was like just ready to like go the entrepreneur route. I didn't necessarily know if it was going to be photography because I was getting into podcasting. I really wanted to explore that, which I feel like I gave it a good shake. It didn't work out. But
That was a really great shake.
I learned a lot of skills that we still use here in KLV applicably, like a lot. So, yeah, from there, I have all this idea, like, you can design your life. And his words, like, Tim Ferriss is kind of annoying to me now, but, like, that book, for sure, like, it showed me what was possible. You were already doing it. You didn't need a book. You just did it, So I was like...
And I don't read.
You don't read it every day.
Well, I do read, but I'll only read the headlines, and then I'll read the last paragraph.
And you'll make
every
assumptions
article.
and just ask me a bunch of questions, and I gotta look that shit up. Yeah. So I was like, I like that. I like reading a book, and then like I get really inspired from that, and I do a lot of inner work, inner monologuing, and then I'll try to go do it. Try to execute. And then that's what I did. It was just like, okay, I'm going to stop commuting. That was my number one goal. Is like, I want to work from home. That's why I'm so
You were adamant about, the commuting part.
I'm going to work from home because I killed my body over that. Like, I can't do so many things because I sat for so long, So, and even when I had the job, after you got to the job, you commuted to the job, then you go back in a car, in your county car, and go drive around some more and inspect all these places. So you're in the car all day fucking long. So that's why I fucked up my back. And I was just like, I can't. And I killed all my mileage for like being a photographer because of all the sitting down.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, I wasn't really educated on how to strengthen it and maintain it. I had no healthy habits about it. It was just like go time, And you're young, you're just like, fuck it, let's go.
Yeah.
So that's how my story broke down, is like this: I'm gonna work from home.
And you
I'm
still
still
working
working from home.
Yeah, you stuck with it.
Yeah.
And you were, and you're really committed. When you say something, you'll actually do it.
I do it, yeah.
Yeah. And we're like 14 years, 15 years in, and she's still working from home.
That's right.
So when COVID happened, it was the same thing over here.
Peachy keen, buddy, bring it on.
I was a workaholic though.
You were
Yeah.
You are a workaholic. You are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am actually.
You
Yeah.
are a workaholic. I mean, we're gonna talk about that too, because we all know where that comes from.
But
Father.
that's the next one. That's the next one.
That's the next one. Yeah.
But yeah, that's our take on it. Current what? Well, I was getting there.
Yeah, get
Yeah.
there. Yeah, don't
Okay.
end it. Okay, so that brings us to you.
Yeah, so that's our current lifestyle. It took us 15 years.
Working from home. That was
The
my
development would progressively change, I would say, ever since COVID for me.
Yeah.
Because prior to COVID, I was a workaholic. Like, there were so many things that I wanted to fulfill. It's either it was moving to a different city, or it's camera equipments that I really wanted but I couldn't afford at the time. It's getting more lights, equipment again.
Yeah.
And we have little hobbies, but they weren't as expensive of a hobby as what we're currently doing now. It just keeps getting more expensive.
Doesn't it match how much we make though?
It does. It's weird. But when we first started out, we were in an expensive hobby, which was golfing.
Oh, but we didn't really go crazy with it.
Yeah, but it was still expensive. I
Yeah.
still remember.
Yeah. Golf.
I really liked it, but once COVID started for us, it was the same lifestyle that we were living, just not getting paid. That was the only difference. Yeah,
Eventually.
because events were all closed, venues were all closed, everyone was at home, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we were used to that aspect, that working from home, seeing your partner every day, we were used to it.
Yeah.
There was nothing wrong about that, but the thing that interrupted my pattern was I forgot how to live life outside of work. Living life outside your passion, because you're so stuck in your passion, you forgot what it was like to experience life.
Did you ever feel like, how you're living your passion, yes, even and before COVID, like, did you ever have like, did you fall out of love with it? You were always passionate every time, or was it work? Or you don't make a distinction, like, this is just what my life is.
Yeah, I don't break down my passion. I just do it.
You don't compartmentalize, like,
Yeah.
I love this part, I hate this part, no?
I just do it, yeah. Like, I feel like I like every part in what you create in this line of work.
Even the taxes?
The taxes, I think that's a part of my nature. I just like
You just
total
like to-
control of being very meticulous
Okay.
in numbers.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I don't like taxes in terms of like how much they take from us in California, but
But you're so diligent about it. You know, like you don't put it off. Like somebody who hates taxes maybe will like leave it on the last thing to do. You'll often put the toughest thing the first thing to do.
yeah, I'll do the toughest thing first.
Yeah.
Or I'll like do everything all at once on the same day.
Yeah.
For me to relax the next day. And
Yeah, you're really good at that. Yeah.
just chill.
Yeah.
But it took COVID to really break up my patterns and living life a little bit more.
What does
and
living life look like now?
So now I dedicate at least 2 days to mountain bike with the friends that I've met that were, you know, we have now a 3-year relationship, a
That's
3-year
so cool, yeah.
friendship together,
I'm so glad
right?
you have friends.
That we take, you know, trips together at least once a year to somewhere around the States to mountain bike. And yeah, it kept me sane like throughout 2022, being able to balance photography with your friends that, you know, that you met during COVID and that are still your friends and actually great friends because we're all on the same path. We all actually have our own businesses. Not everyone, but most of them. And we all think alike. We all have...
You're like all hustlers? Or?
Yeah, we're all hustlers. And now with having that energy being evenly distributed through your hobbies and your career and family time, it just feels very balanced.
Okay, yeah. So how much time do you have to have for like living life, in your words, and business? What's the percentage, do you think? Is it still like is it a 50-50? Is it an 80-20 for you to feel balanced? Because balance doesn't really mean 50-50 most of the time. It just means I get this, you know?
Yeah. Analyzing 2022, and I don't need too much of mountain biking to keep me sane.
Whoa, so how much?
Yeah, I would say like it's like freaking 10 to 15%.
Really?
Yeah, it's
out of the whole...
Yeah, because I only bike for 2 hours with my friend twice a week. That's like very, very minimal.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even if we travel, we're only there for like 2 days, 3 days.
And you get fulfillment.
And that's enough. Yeah.
It lasts you.
Yeah.
I see.
And that's all I need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but going twice a week is good.
Is
at least, ideal?
Yeah.
Okay.
At least twice a week.
Ideal or twice a week minimum?
Twice a week minimum.
Minimum.
Yeah.
Okay. So you could do more.
I could do more, but I can bike on my own. I don't need to bike with friends.
Oh, with people twice a week.
Oh, once a
Okay.
week. Yeah. It keeps going down. No, I really, as long as I'm on that bike,
Yeah.
that's all that I need.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, friends are a cherry on top.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Like very pure. Okay.
Yeah.
What else is living life? So you got biking. What else?
Family time. Just us working so much during our early 20s, I felt like I haven't spent a lot of time with
We didn't.
our family.
We chose. Yeah.
Well, because we needed to get things in order and we needed to fulfill, our lifestyle.
Yeah.
If this is going to be our lifestyle, we have to make it happen. And now finally we reached the stage where we feel grounded and our family starts to come and we feel just we're better hosts, we're better people, and we have a better mindset of things.
You're more mature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I felt like family time it's the other part that keeps my sanity pretty level, because it's cool. Like we started recently hanging out with my cousin, and I would never hang out with her because I'm
so
always
surprised to hear that too. By the way.
I'm always busy like on the weekends, and And I will be busy always during the weekend, but there will always be a time that we'll try and hang out with them.
Yeah. I think we just finally have room in our brain or mind or whatever that we can make room for other people. Because honestly, starting in the beginning, like, yeah, you were so inspired and so passionate, but I think also there was also this like fear of like, I must make this work. There is no room to like fuck around about it, basically. Like, y'all are partying, y'all want to go to the club, y'all want to do this party, that party. Is like, nope. The priority was business, and that was it. Because did you always know you were going to set up later? Oh, I'll visit my family later? Or you were just like, this is what it is right now. There's nothing in the way of that? Because that's how it felt to me.
Yeah, I never...
like a plan for the future? No, it was just like,
no,
this
I
is
wasn't
what
that.
it is.
I'm futuristic, but I wasn't that futuristic.
Yeah.
No, I just knew what we had to do.
Yeah.
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 And I knew the lifestyle that I wanted to maintain is to be able to take us out to nice places once in a while, to buy things that we like to eat.
Yeah.
And not feel like we're paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
And I don't like being paycheck to paycheck because I had a little taste of that in college. So I wanted to make sure we made a very comfortable lifestyle, and that's what it took.
Yeah.
It took, and my parents would always, every time I would say, "You're young," they'll tell me, "You're young.
Work now."
Yeah, work now, work hard, and keep on working." But then you start reading more, and you're like, "Work smart."
Work smart.
Which
yeah.
is a lot better. And that's what we're doing now. We're working smartly.
Yeah. Yeah, it took a while to figure out what that actually means, because you could hear it, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure you heard it before I said it. You know?
I still hear it till this day. They're like, "Oh, what are you doing today?"
Yeah.
"I'm just hanging out with some friends." And they're like, "What? You're not working?" I'm like, I'm working.
I did it already.
Yeah.
Or, like, you know, I compartmentalized or I batched it or whatever the hell. But yeah.
But people on the outside are just seeing things on the outside. But it actually took a lot of work to get to where we're at today. And why we work so fast is because we trained for like 14 years for this, and you created systems to make us get to things a lot quicker, or it's more productive, it's organized. Yeah.
Which we're still figuring out today. We're still always like, what's the system? Like, just like this show, like, let's figure it out. And sometimes we fail about it. I think we're more gracious about failing versus before. Failing was like, it was do or die. That's what it felt like to me before. It was like, do or die. You know, like you're not dying a physical death, but maybe you're dying like an emotional, mental one, which is just as like crazy. So yeah, we did all that, and I feel like we sacrificed a lot to get here. That's why I'm really like, when I figured out like how much we've given, and really like look at it and be thankful for that, and how much we gave in our own way, in our own roles, and now going like, I don't want to mess that up. You know, I want to keep nurturing it. I want to keep growing it. I don't want to just throw it away. I don't want to just jump on another train. And I feel like we've really built something good for us that we designed specifically for us, you know? So
it is pretty custom, right?
Yeah, every little crevice right now is pretty snug, you know? Like, maybe it's a little tight in some places, but like, we really tried our best to design every little thing so that when we wake up in the morning, like, oh, cool. Like,
yeah, we love what we do.
We love what we do.
And we love the couples that we work with. And we love working with also our team.
Yeah. And the
yeah,
team we built now.
everything that we do in this company was tailored towards a lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
And it was tailored to also always have like a great attitude coming in and out of work.
Yeah, feel good.
Yeah.
Feel good about what you're doing. And weddings does that anyway. After a wedding, you feel pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty dang good. Yeah, everybody's kind of on a high.
Me too.
Me too. Yeah. All right, cool. So that's how we designed our life. Is basically focused on like what suits us. If you were to like break it down and be like, how would I want to design my life? What do you mean? Like, what would you do first? Could you break it down in like a few quick steps?
In quick steps?
Yeah, what's the general picture for you? Like,
I would
even
say
now you're designing
there's
your
no
life.
quick steps to anything, but
No, I mean, just speaking to somebody, say they're like, dude, so what should I start with first? Like, what's the big macro picture of designing your life?
well, first find something that you love to do, right? And you have to distinguish, is it love to do or you want to do it and you can do it for many years?
Because why? You could fall out of love or what?
Yeah, you can fall out of love with it, right? Because not every passion should be a business.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk
yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
But that's true. Like, not every passion should be a business, because once you turn passion into a business,
Yeah.
it can either ruin you. It's like living with your best friend, right? No, or like just any friend, not your best friend. Living with
That's like your best friend. I'm
just living with
asking.
your friend, right? You guys were like at once like all jolly that you get to live together, and that was a dream in high school, that you get to live together in college and go to the same school. But
And now you're living together.
now it's different, right? Now you see the behind scenes of someone else's life and how they live.
Now you see them damn dishes in the sink for 3 days. Yeah.
But yeah, that's why you have to I think that's the most important thing.
So what do you like to do for a long time?
For long
versus
term, yeah.
What do you love? Hey,
Yeah,
that's
versus
a big
what you love.
distinction. Yeah,
Yeah.
because not every passion should be turned into a business.
Yeah, for wedding photography, I felt it's so versatile. It was never boring. It's never the same. But I can't imagine making the same hat. Like if I was,
The same hat.
if I was in a hat shop making the same hat,
Yeah.
just different colors but the same logo. Oh man, I don't know if I can carry on.
Hey, that's a good way of saying it, because I'm kind of feeling that way with coffee, which we'll talk about later. But yeah, okay. I think that was really solid. I really like that advice though too.
Cool.
What do you like? What do you like to do for a long time?
Yeah. And that's a hard question to answer.
Yeah. And
Because
then-
you don't know how long is long.
What's a long time? 5 years is a long time, you know? Okay. All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed our first episode of Hyperfocal. You can subscribe for more. We're going to be putting out more stuff like this and exploring this format, finally. Thank you, Papa, for a great first show. I think it was really good.
Thank you.
Okay. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Cool. Good job,
Yay.
Bobby.